So let's get started. Email marketing, designing email campaigns that convert. Okay, different types of emails. We have e-newsletters. That's the one we're going to talk about today. But the e-newsletters are something that's very popular. Acquisition emails. That's basically to encourage new subscribers, new customers. How are we going to pull them in? Welcome emails. We talked about that in the last session, right? So when they do subscribe, how are we welcoming them? How are we keeping them along that journey? And then those retention ones. How do we keep them excited? How do we keep them on our subscription to keep them engaged? Promotional is if you have a sale, like end of season sale, new product launch, new download, whatever that might be. It's a promotional one. And then we get into more about the e-commerce, but you're going to see cart. I said cart. It should be cart. Cart abandonment, and then different things about upselling. Upselling does not have to be e-commerce. Upselling could even be if you're part of a course. It's like, hey, you've got the trial. Now it's time to move forward. Or here's another one. Here's if you buy this, that you can buy this as well. So there is B2B plus B2C in that one. And then don't forget surveys for feedback. So those are some types of emails. And now what we have to remember is different types of emails are relevant based on your goals. It's really important to get started with that goals. And we talked a lot about the funnels in the last session, but this is really where your goals are going to be. Are you trying to build your business, like build your subscriber base? Well, it's probably going to be the acquisition type emails we're going to use, right? Are we going to do nurture? We have them, and now how do we keep them engaged? We're going to have retention. We're going to do welcome emails, right? And then we get into the convert because we want them to be clients, right? We're really trying to push the sales, right? Promotional, cart abandonment, and then that retention. Retention could be how do we keep learn feedback about our customers? So that could be sending out a survey. It could even be a lot of the other ones. The retention is re-engagement. Hey, I've noticed you haven't opened this. What about this, right? So this is a lot of information you can get in the back end. So just remember, set your goals first and then figure out what type of email you're going to send. And this was a very good quote. And it brought to the attention that nurture to convert, because we are talking about conversions here, but conversions could also be anywhere in the funnel. Where are you trying to convert them? How are you trying to move them forward? But what I like about this, she says, lead nurture is still primarily centered on email marketing efforts, but the customer experience needs to span all channels to foster engagement and point of sale, from in-store to mobile, sales, referrals, social, and support. This is Corinne Sklar from Global CMO Blue Wolf. And what that really means is don't think of email marketing in a silo. No matter what, any tactic that you do has to be strategic and part of your bigger plan. So now we're going to get ready to plan our email campaign. Most of all, it's just as I'd mentioned, make sure it is part of that overall marketing plan and that this tactic has to be strategic. And so for each campaign, what do we need to remember? We have to know our goals. We have to really think when our goal is, what is that clear call to action based on that goal? We have to know who our audience is. And that means we have, generally speaking, most of you I know have a marketing plan and we have our primary and a secondary audience. But now it's like, how do we really get to know them? Who within that are we trying to target in this campaign? And then go back, review some of your other campaign data, what worked, what didn't, what was relevant, as well as data within your email marketing, but other data, right? Other marketing efforts data. Keep the content simple and focused if possible. I know with some of the newsletters and announcements and things like that, it might get bigger, and that's appropriate. But just remember, only give them what they really need. Right? Be succinct, simple, and focused. Make sure that your campaign is shareable. I know once you set up your template, it probably always will be. So that's sort of in the setup stage. So make sure you ask them to forward. Make sure you have all your social media links. Make sure all of that information is there just in case you want, and that's a way to build your list, right? That's one of those things. So once it's set up in the campaign, that's good. And then remember to do it, learn, and adjust. It is definitely a process of learning. Okay, some design tips now. Ooh, before we get into the pictures of some campaign examples I'm going to show you, this is the list. So based on this kind of criteria, as well as it's not an exhaustive list, we're going to talk about it and then I'm going to show you some, and I'm hoping you will be able to drop some stuff into the chat and let me know why you think the campaigns I'm going to show you will work. So first off, pictures. As they say, pictures worth 1,000 words. We also have to make sure we don't use too many pictures, use them wisely, but visuals do definitely help and grab our attention. Make sure it's mobile friendly. Personalize the message. And that means if you have 5,000 people on your email campaign list, don't just blanket send it unless it's meant to be, right? Really start to segment and then personalize based on that audience. Have an engaging subject line because you want them to open. So make sure it's engaging. Make sure it keeps with your brand from your visual tone and style. Make sure it's engaging and valuable. So engaging and valuable is different based on whatever audience it is, and it's also based on who you are. So if it's humor you're going for, make sure it's memorable, inspirational, informative. Just make sure that you know your audience and you know what's going to provide them the value and engagement. Clear and concise message, as we mentioned. Avoid spam triggers, right? Too many capitals, lots of symbols, exclamation marks, and that stuff will trigger your email delivery and going, oh, it's spam, we're going to put it into spam. So we definitely want to make sure we avoid those spam triggers. Also, too many photos without text can be a spam trigger. Make sure you have a compelling call to action. And from my personal experience, I know that's one of the hardest things. And that's where feedback can come in. It's like, did that make you want to convert? Did it not? Was that compelling enough? So definitely it takes a while to learn that one. And also spam sales words, right? So win, free giveaway, things like that can also be a trigger to put things into your junk mail. Use a third-party provider, as we talked, like MailChimp or Constant Contact, Klaviyo, all those great ones. Be compliant. Make sure it is Castle, that the whole thing is Castle friendly. Fill out everything. I'm going to talk to you about that in the demo. There's different things that you might miss, like a preview text. So there's the subject heading line, but the preview text, and it'll let you go. Some of the stuff will stop you from going because it's required, but other ones are just optimal. So just remember, you go through and fill everything out. Preview it ahead of time in both mobile and desktop. Send a test email. The test email will come to you. See what it looks like in your email. Monitor the deliverability. Optimize the time spent. So a lot of the third party will start to track that and tell you when the best time is to send. That will be coming back to what your results are. So if you find everything's being opened more at 9 o'clock in the morning, then send it at 9, but you're not going to know until you test different times. You can manually test different times. You can also use, and that gets into that A/B testing that we have here. A/B testing is something that things like MailChimp will allow you to do separately. And they do a lot of things in the background. And what that is, it is to help you optimize your email campaigns. It compares two versions of an email, which is the A version and the B version. Variable changes, you can identify which elements basically are performing the best and use that to improve your emails. So A/B testing usually is just one variable, and it will take you through it. You know, automatically there's a whole process. You do have to have a pretty big base. So you have to wait till your subscriber base gets big enough to be able to do it, but it is okay. I will show you a little bit down below, but just remember you can do that as well. So if you know you have two different header banners, one email, you know, send it out here, next one, send it out there. The thing is, you don't know till you have either a big enough sample base or you send it out enough to the smaller one. So A/B testing is a little tricky. Just know that it is available as you grow. Designing campaigns that convert. Starbucks. What do you think? One thing that stands out from this one. Why do you think this one works? Anyone? Drop it in the chat. Simple, not a lot of text, half off. Changing photos are engaging. I think this is really what this one is meant to do. It's simple. It's on brand for them. The GIF is really what you can do. Remember, it is, if you want to do this, it has to be a GIF, right? Video won't automatically play. So if you are going to put this into your campaign, it has to be a GIF. Triggers emotions. Yeah, it does, right? Yeah, and it's simple. Okay, let's try this one. Auto Trader. Hit the red button to stay in the loop with Auto Trader. That is the big header. And it talks a little bit more. The text is there for information. Stay subscribed. Any thoughts on this one? Now, if you're not able to watch this, I will definitely talk through this, but it is very simple. And it's there, but I don't like it as much either. Too much text. Okay. Too much text. Interesting. It is a lot of text, but sometimes we need text. But I love your boring and visually blah. Okay, interesting, but it does the job. Is this boring and visually blah because they know their audience? Do they think that this is maybe for them? And I'm all hypothetical at this one. Stay subscribed. So the whole idea of this one is to sort of keep them on. This was a re-engagement campaign. But yeah, I think they probably could have done a better job with this one. And red button. Could have left subtitle and red button. Bullet points would have been better, more impactful. Yep, I agree. Cool. All right. This is another one. New features that never get old is the title. Since you've been gone, we've freshened up the Venmo experience is the paragraph text. The call to action is explore Venmo, and then it has some graphics and a QR code underneath. Brand isn't prominent enough. I agree. Yeah, it's very bland on the background. Explore, they should have had something there to expose that. It's imposing. Interesting. Yeah, it's kind of blah, right? It's interesting. And this is the ones that they actually put forward that they liked. The words fight each other. New features that never get old. You actually have to think about what you're reading, right? And someone says, I'd like a background color that stays on brand. Yep. Got it. Okay, what about this one? This just basically has this basic light ground background. It has the big title word sale, S-A-L-E, on top of each other, up to 50% off right in the middle. It's red and green, super simple, shop the sale. Yep, it's easy, simple, super easy. It's a sale. Now it's going to people who understand. Now I don't know what the sale is. I don't know the brand. What are they selling? So I'm not sure on that one, but I think sometimes these campaigns require a little more context, but it is super simple.
I do.
No, yeah, so interesting. What did you say, Helen?
Sorry, I do. I think
Yeah.
sale just appeals to me, even though I don't know what it is.
Well, it's visually appealing. And this is the danger we have to remember is if it's visually appealing as a designer, that's really great. But if it doesn't serve your purpose and encourage people to click, then it falls short. So function first. However, it makes you want to click it because you don't know what it is. So are you tempted to click this to get more information? Maybe. And yeah, I'm with you, Des. I no idea what the brand is for sure. Okay, here's another one. I am here, join me. So there's a picture of a woman ready to work out. It says coming soon. Very compelling, strong woman. Love it. Inspires me definitely to want to go work out. I am here, join me. Wow, powerful, right? And then this talks about hello friend. So this is a welcome one, right? Like this is meant to be written like a letter. And then big button call to action says join now. Let's do this, ladies, is the right underneath. It's like, yes. And she signs it. She has her name at the bottom, right? Very personable, very easy, gets to the point. Yeah, Shar says, love it. I love it too, right? Like it makes me feel, she says, hello, friend, very comfortable, really encouraging the type of feeling that they want to have in this club. Clear and concise. Yep. And it has all the shareable buttons underneath, right? For them, because for me, I would want to know where they are on social. So you always want to make sure your social buttons are at the bottom. And then there's a couple more. There's the green. Okay, so anyone who can't see this, green background. It has this funny green, poorly wrapped present. It says, the header says, if your wrapping looks like this, you may want to get them a gift card. Okay, that makes me chuckle. Because how many of us do that, right? And then it underneath it says you have two options. Button says one. Then it says get one in stores today, plus enjoy up to 50% off everything. Click call to action, find a store. Perfect. Two, can't make it to a store, send them an e-gift card. Very funny, clear, to tweet Des, I don't know what that means. Very green though. So I think color accessibility, I'm not so sure about that. When you do white on a green background or color background like that, it's a little hard to read. This also is on a screenshot, so it could be my delivery on this, but I would want a little bit more contrast. That's a little difficult. Yeah, see, it wasn't green on green, but very clever. I definitely like this one. Okay, one more. Simple. This comes from an e-commerce standpoint. Across the top, it says loft, new arrivals, monthly edit. So it gives you a whole bunch of options. Free shipping, tells me free shipping, shows a person wearing the clothing. The big center text says happy inbox, happy life. Makes me a little inspired. We want to send you style news that you can't actually use. All you need to do is manage your preferences. Okay, so I think that's a re-engagement email is what I'm looking at. Insider style tips. So it gives tips too at the bottom. Um, fancy for sure. Love this classy, impactful message is delivered well in brand. Brand is clear. And I think we have to remember too that these emails are not in isolation, that these people are going to be used to seeing these coming through and different ones. So it's simple and it fits the person that's going to want to buy this right away. I know who's the audience here based on that image. And I also like, because it's an e-commerce company, is that across the top, I can go and see different things. I don't just have one call to action, but it's subtle, it's in the background. So maybe I'm a short person. So petites, oh, it's like, I like this, but petite. So as soon as you click something, and this is not obvious in this, but from a re-engagement email, as soon as that person clicks anywhere on the email, it re-engages them and it starts to grade them. So as much as the manage here your preferences is the main call to action, we just really want them to click somewhere. So that could be a secondary goal. So it's just, there's a little more depth to this. And then Des, yes, you're not the target audience. You do have to put yourself in the shoes of who this audience is. Auto trader. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so those are just some examples to get it going. So when we come to our own, when we're critiquing it or critiquing someone else's feedback, giving them feedback, remember to think about these design tips, but remember to put yourself in the shoes of who that audience is, and the expectation that you believe that this email is for. So that's really how we can do some constructive feedback. This was the A/B testing that I'd mentioned. So if you do want to do an A/B testing through MailChimp and you want to get started, you put in create an email and it will take you through the process. I'm going to show you some first steps anyway. So basically you want to see what you're testing. So maybe it's the day of the week that they're going to test. And then you're going to say how much of the audience you want to test. Perhaps it's just a segment. Again, I haven't done a lot of this with this small of an audience, so I'm not sure. We have just over 200 in ours, but it is something that I could see how it goes. So entire audience typically is where you're going to go unless you have a really big one. And then it's going to take you through what you want to test, right? Is it the subject line? Is it from the person's name? Is it the content that you're testing, or is it your send time? And then it will take you through different things. Now, I don't have all of the rest of it, but just know that that is available. And then it will give you options as you go along. Okay, reports. An important thing I don't want you to forget as you're doing this, make sure you track your metrics that you need to know if it's successful. So some of the examples are open rate. How much do people actually open the email? Click rate, which is what they're clicking of the individual call to actions, because you might have more, you might have less. It's what's that click rate. Bounces, how many of your emails went and bounced back? There's hard bounces and soft bounces. You want to watch that. Part of having a double opt-in will help you reduce your bounce rate because it requires someone to confirm that it's an email and they didn't type it in improperly. So really do consider that double opt-in. A hard bounce is when it's totally a wrong email and it's not going. A soft bounce is if you get things like an autoresponder saying, I'm out of office, and you get that often, that's going to be called a soft bounce. You're also going to want to check your unsubscribes, because if you're getting a lot of unsubscribes, you might want to rethink what you're doing for that. What location? This is one I've added in because I want to watch where they're coming from. Because all of a sudden, if we got a lot of American or European subscribers, then you might want to tweak some of the personalization to that. So just watch that. And then your spam score. MailChimp at least does this, and they will tell you. So if you are starting to do things that are spammy, they're going to tell you. And so definitely watch that. The ones in italics below are conversion rate, return on investment, the ROI, customer lifetime value, and cost per acquisition. That is typically what you're going to get that feedback from someone like MailChimp if you have an e-commerce connection. So it's not available in all of them. You can track it yourself, but MailChimp will actually track it for you based on the connections and the type of store you have connected. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Basically, when you go into your dashboard, it will show you a dashboard of all the different opens, click rates. You can check out your industry benchmarks. You can download, you can print. It goes on. And then it will also tell you that how well your email did. Is it skimmable? I guess mine are not so skimmable. Interesting. Which is all your headings, right? You have to make sure your headings are proper. Text and visuals, typography, links, and call to actions. It's going to tell you how well you do. Again, it's to their discretion, but it does give you some feedback. And then here we go. Top links, it's going to tell you which of the top links were clicked, how many times, and it's going to tell you when things were opened and when things were clicked. And quite often, I don't know if I have ever seen it where it's not high right at the beginning in the first 24 hours, then it usually drops off. It's just the way it is, right? Now I have no reason why it would be any different, but in the first 24 hours. But you'll see it. You'll see the different peaks. So you'll also see when people opened. So if I sent that at 5 o'clock at night, yes, people opened, but then all of a sudden 9 o'clock in the evening, people are opening them too. 5 in the morning, not so much. 1 in the afternoon. So you can start to watch these trends. And remember, truth is in the trends. Just like any of your analytics, don't just take this and make this drastic change. Track them on a spreadsheet, look at the patterns, and then start to evaluate.